so proud to be Haitian because just everything about being Haitian is just awesome.
You know, everyone know about the history of Haiti, first Black independent country in 1804.
Understanding the history of Haiti, Haitian people, you can't help but be proud of the accomplishment that have happened.
Haitian Americans have done really well in the past few years. There's still a lot more work to be done. Only about 20% of us actually have a bachelor's degree.
I understand firsthand some of the challenges that Haitian American students, graduates, and professionals have faced.
Some of them have overcome incredible adversity.
Both immigrated or asylum seekers or refugees.
There are not that many Haitian-focused scholarships, but like any other award, the NAAHP Leadership Award is providing recognition for one's hard work.
As we know, college is expensive, so this scholarship fund provides the chance for a brighter future.
It felt like the universe was speaking, like I needed the money, I was intrigued, people were telling me to apply.
Going to college or graduate school can be very, very expensive. So donating to a scholarship like this would help that expense be more manageable.
Future generation of leaders, scholars, entrepreneurs,
young adults that are trying to make something of their lives.
They are rock stars. They just need the help, and they need us to help them accomplish it.
There's like this Haitian proverb that says, "Meilleur pied palu," many hands make the load lighter.
Log in and you can donate $10, $25, $50.
It makes me think of the Malcolm X quote that education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It makes me happy to know that our organization is contributing to that goal, preparing others for the future.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am your host, Anide Eustache of Gawo Consulting, and I'm so happy to be with you all this evening, and I'm so happy to have our guest, Nathalie Marc-Charles, with us. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to tonight's professional development with the NAAHP, and tonight's session is about establishing your professional brand as women, and I'm excited about this topic. And I know Nathalie is, and we're gonna meet Nathalie in a few minutes. So, but before we start, we want to thank our partners. We want to thank Shokarela. We want to thank Book It Right Accountancy, and we also want to thank College Cafe, who have been faithful and committed partners to the NAAHP throughout a lot of our symposiums and a lot of our online virtual session. So thank you to you all. And again, we're happy to have you all on tonight. And what I'm going to share with you as we all begin is just give you a short layout of how tonight's presentation, this session will occur. I will share a little bit about Nathalie's background. Nathalie's going to introduce herself. Then she's going to share a great presentation. And then we're going to leave it open to Q&A for any questions that anyone may have about on today. And again, this session is for women, but the tips and everything you will learn is gender neutral. But one of the reasons we want to focus on women is that we were originally supposed to do the show in March, but we ran into some difficulties. So we had to push it out into April. And both Nathalie and I are very passionate about making sure that women just feel very confident in walking in all of their skills and their gifts and all of that. But sometimes women, we don't do a great job of just tooting our own horn. And there was something I wanted to share, like Natalie's going to get on in a few minutes, but there was something I wanted to share because I think it's so telling about the session that we're going to do tonight about helping women to establish their professional brand. There was this survey that came out in 2019, and 4 women entrepreneurs interviewed 1,000 adults. 517 of them were women and 499 were men, but they pulled a subset of the women. And Nathalie, I know you'll shake your head and be like, yeah, I can see how these results came about. But it was called the Self-Promotion Gap Survey. And U.S. News reported on the finding. And the survey revealed that women may be sabotaging their careers by underselling their accomplishments. And it said more than a quarter of the women, 27%, would prefer to visit the dentist than talk about themselves in public. They found that most women take pains to avoid sharing their strengths. 84% of the women felt uncomfortable talking about professional or academic accomplishments. 69% of the women prefer to downplay their accomplishments instead of promoting them. 43% of women would rather quit social media for a week than talk about themselves in public. Nearly half of it's funny, but I can relate, right? Nearly half of the women would prefer to run errands in the rain than talk about themselves in a room full of strangers. Another study found that 83% of the women surveyed said they find other women's accomplishments inspiring, but they downplay their own. So this session is so needed. And again, like I said, I'm really excited about what Nathalie's going to share with us on tonight. So like I shared, tonight's topic is geared towards women, and it's about establishing your professional brand as women. And in tonight's sessions, you're going to learn how to increase your visibility and take your professional brand to new heights. And our objective is it's designed to inform women looking to either get back into the workforce. You may be going through a career change. You may be looking to move into entrepreneurship. You may be looking to position yourself as a talking head or a subject matter expert, and you're just not sure how to begin that process. Well, on tonight's session and on tonight's show with Nathalie, we're going to learn about that. So Nathalie, say hello to everyone, please.
Hello, everyone. I am absolutely honored and excited to be talking to you all today. I am a career strategist, an executive coach, and a leadership development executive. And my main niche is women. Specifically working mothers. And I work with working mothers so that we can help them uplift their career, but also align their work and their home life. And I don't say balance because I don't think there's ever a balance. I think it's all about alignment and putting yourself first so that you can be good for the people that you support, right? Your children, your partners, employees, colleagues. And so that's what I do really here.
All right, great. And one thing I forgot to share, we have our hashtag. It is PD with the NAAHP. You can put in that hashtag on any of the social media profiles. You can, I believe we can put it on LinkedIn if you tag us, but put it on Facebook. You can comment on YouTube and put it on there, and you and whoever we choose will have an opportunity to win a LinkedIn profile audit session with Nathalie. So remember the hashtag is hashtag PD with the NAAHP to win a LinkedIn profile audit with Nathalie. So Nathalie and I met probably a month and a half ago, and we hit it off instantly. You know, obviously our culture, there's a cultural context, but there's also a professional context, a working mom context. And what I liked about Nathalie is that I work with women, and I know other coaches and other folks who work with women, but I like the fact that you focused on, and I know you work with all women, but the fact that you focused on working moms, I thought that was an interesting niche to just come out and say, and I'm like, okay, let me speak to her. So when we initially met, we were going one way with the session, but as we talked, we start like, okay, this is it. This is the type of session we feel that women need, especially professional women who have been in the field for a while, who just really don't know where to start, or maybe you've been in one industry all your life and you're looking to pivot and you just don't know where to start. And LinkedIn is such a great tool to help you get to that place. So Nathalie, you shared a little bit about your background, and I'm going to share your bio with everyone just so they get the full deal. So Nathalie is an executive coach specializing in career management and leadership development. She works with clients to uplift them to design a career that is aligned with their life. Nathalie has used the Berkman method, a self-awareness and career orientation tool, to coach over 300 clients across the Caribbean, Latin America, the United States, Canada, and Europe. Nathalie's approach is founded on 3 core pillars: clarity, direction, and empowerment. This approach builds on her clients' unique personalities to establish a strong personal brand that they can be proud of. Clients feel empowered to make confident career moves, increase the visibility of their brand, and form a clear, strategic career trajectory that is aligned with every aspect of their lives. So, Nathalie, when we spoke, you were working a 9 to 5 up to 3 years ago, right? And I want you to share your story, because I think even before you do your presentation, I think it would be inspiring to women to hear your story about how did you get started in this industry and how did you wind up from a 9 to 5 to now 3 years later running a very successful business on your own.
Absolutely. And it's actually a very interesting story, because about 7.5 years ago, I moved back to Haiti. My whole childhood, I spent back and forth between Haiti and the US and even the Dominican Republic. And I moved back 7.5 years ago. And my background is in human resources. I spent over 15 years working for corporate America for companies like Paramount, AIG. And, I thought, I'm going to go to Haiti and I'm going to do HR. I get there, and HR, or the HR that I knew, was more strategic, right? More around employee relations and making sure that companies had the right people in the right positions making decisions. But what ended up happening was a lot of the roles that I was being offered were very much administrative, right? So I didn't feel like I found my space in human resources. So I got a job with an architectural firm doing a lot of their HR, but I started doing operations as well. I loved it because I ended up looking at interior design concepts and architectural concepts, which is something that I really enjoy. Not good at it, but I enjoy it. But then I still felt like something was missing. And someone that I know told me about this method called the Berkman method. And it's actually an assessment that measures not only your personality, but it talks about your usual behavior, which is your strength. So how you behave when everything is great. It measures what you're interested in, not necessarily skilled at, but interested in. And it also measures your needs, right? What you need from your environment, professional or personal, in order to be successful. And then what I love the most about it is that it also measures your stress behavior, right? It tells you, if you don't have what you need, and sometimes needs are invisible, right? They're invisible to others, and they're also things that you cannot articulate. Right? When you have a romantic partner and you say, I need you to be more romantic, they're like, what does that mean? Do you want me to sing to you? Do you want me to rub your feet? What do you want me to do? And so it allows you to articulate what you need. When I took the assessment, it changed my life. Honestly, it changed my life. It literally told me that you are really great with people. You can do consulting. You can help people, better their lives. And then I realized I had been doing this in my HR profession all the time. But, growing up, we didn't know that there were coaches, right? The coaches that you saw were people on Oprah, like who went to school to become a coach. And so that was the furthest thing from my mind. But I loved the assessment so much that I got certified in it. And then I started offering it to people that I knew in Haiti. And, it just kind of snowballed because people would take the assessment, they would love it, identify with it. And then they would say, well, then Nathalie, now what do I do? How do I find the right career? Where do I start? And that kind of snowballed very organically into my coaching career. And now I work with several companies doing coaching. I work with a company called Career Foundry that's based in Germany, doing coaching for specifically people that are transitioning into new careers, specifically in technology. I work with another company called the GKC Group that is based in Philadelphia, and they focus on working with highly motivated women from different industries in corporate America to assess their leadership skills, but they also use the Berkman as the platform to leverage that. And then I do my own practice. And so I started doing that. And then people started hearing about me, and I started getting clients in Latin America and in the US, and all of it through word of mouth. But I want to say something that when I decided to transition from HR to coaching, I was scared. I was scared because I had already established my brand as an HR professional. That's what people knew. And so I had to myself do the work to pivot and tell people, and still to this day, I still get HR requests, and sometimes I take them on if I have the capacity, the bandwidth. But now people know me as a career strategist and a career coach, and I get, requests for resume edits and LinkedIn profile edits. And so I had to do a lot of work to establish the brand, and you'll see how I did that through the presentation that I'll share with you today. But it wasn't something that I was initially, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that, right? How do I do this? And for those of you who are afraid, I was so afraid of starting my business on Instagram. I was fine on LinkedIn, right? Because I had already been on LinkedIn. I had used it as a recruitment tool and a sourcing tool, which is why I know it so well. And I'll share all that with you. But, I was afraid because I thought people are going to think, what do you mean? There's so many coaches out there, right? I was afraid of the judgment. And I think that, especially in our culture, we are not really taught to speak up for ourselves, right? In a good way, right? Because then you're bragging, or, oh, who do you think you are? Like, you think you're better than anything. And I had a lot of people actually say things like that to me, but I knew what my goal was, and it didn't stop me. And I ended up getting on Instagram and sharing it with everyone. And now we're doing great. But again, it's a process, right? And it's a mindset shift that we have to adopt to be our own advocates, right? If a lot of us, especially as women, we think if I do my job really, really well, if I exceed expectations, I'm going to get promoted, or people are going to talk about me. But that's not all it takes. You have to also be your own advocate, and that's through your professional brand, right? And it's not just what you put on LinkedIn. It's how you behave, how people see you. But we digress. I'll get into that during the presentation. But it was very organic how I got into it, and I went through the same process that I'll share with you to establish my professional brand and be known as a coach.
And I love that you share that, because I think it's always important for people, when they're hearing someone impart something to them, understand that, like there's a commercial, I'm not only, it was the hair commercial, I'm not only this, I'm a former client, like, where these women are coming from. And, everything you said, like, resonated with me. Like, how do you differentiate yourself in a field that looks like it's crowded? And sometimes that's one of the barriers to women even taking that first step, because, well, everyone else is doing it. And how do I differentiate myself? This person's doing it, so they don't do anything at all. And I love the fact that, and I know you'll share more about that. So final question before you do your presentation. What is the one thing you hope that everyone who is online tonight and everyone who will be watching a playback of this session, what do you want them to gain from this presentation and this session?
That's a great question, because I think it goes back on the pillars that my coaching is based on, right? It's about getting clarity around who you are and what you want, what your talent is, what your value is, right? Because my value and your value are not the same. What I can provide you, nobody else can provide you, right? And also direction. So once you have the clarity, how do I do this, right? So I'll show you exactly step by step how you can do this on LinkedIn, right? And then empowerment. Once you have it set up and you start getting the feedback. I have clients who, once I'm done with their LinkedIn, they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm getting so many views. Everybody's contacting me for this opportunity and this opportunity. And so you start to feel empowered, right? To go that way and continue to build and nurture your professional brand.
Well, you heard it all here, folks. So with no further ado, I cede the table and the floor to Nathalie Marc-Charles, who is going to begin our presentation in our session for tonight. And remember, after she's done, there will be time for Q&A. And again, if you missed it, please put in the hashtag PD with NAAHP for an opportunity to win a LinkedIn profile edit with Nathalie on tonight, okay? And the giveaway expires on April the 30th. So the hashtag again is hashtag PD with the NAAHP. And Nathalie, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. So we all know at this point why we're here. We're talking about professional development with NAAHP and how you establish your brand, right? And this session is specifically for professional working women, but anybody who is watching right now, despite what your gender is, you will have a lot of takeaways from this presentation. We're going to focus a lot on those of you who are looking into changing careers, or those of you who have taken a break from your careers and are looking to join back in, because a lot of the time what I see is people say, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I differentiate myself? How do I get back into the job market? I won't spend too much time introducing myself because I think we did that a lot. But again, my name is Nathalie Marc-Charles, and I am a career strategist, and I help working mothers align their home and their work life in a way that helps them uplift their careers. So I read this quote, and I love this author. I know that many of you have heard of her and have read her books. And she says here, you are the storyteller of your own life, and you can create your own legend or not. It's your choice whether or not you want to create your legend or not. But in order to advance in your career or get the opportunities that you deserve, it is your responsibility to create that story that gets you viewed and gets you these opportunities that you're looking for. So having said that, today we're going to discuss recognizing the importance of your brand, defining your professional brand, promoting your professional brand on LinkedIn, and then identifying the right connections and networks to grow your professional brand, and then using LinkedIn to network effectively. So it's not all about just creating a profile and sitting back, right? You really have to engage in the process so that you can land those opportunities. So the first topic is recognizing the importance of your brand. So I hope this is not news to anyone, but you have a brand. Whether or not you're aware of your brand, you have a brand. Your brand is your life experiences, the way others perceive you, and your point of view and actions. So everything that you do feeds people information about who you are. Everything you say, everything you do, how others see you, and your life experiences create that brand. Now, we understand that perception is huge, and we talked about the Berkman method before in the intro. And the Berkman method is really all based on perception, your perception of the world. And through that, we get your usual behavior, which are your strengths, your needs, your interests, and your stress behavior, right? So in terms of the perception, it's how you are, the actions, and how people perceive you. Your brand is made up of, so we talked about your brand and whether or not you know it or not, right? That's what we call your default brand, right? It's not a brand that you have engaged in making people understand or knowingly done so, right? It is the default brand. My default brand was that I was an HR executive. I was an HR consultant, right? That was my default, but it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, right? Now, when you look at your default brand, do you like it? What would you change and how would you change it if you could? And then what opportunities does it open or close for you, right? If you stick to your default brand, if you like it, what are the opportunities that it opens for you? What are the opportunities that it closes for you, right? When I decided to brand myself as a career coach, I knew that it was going to close some opportunities in HR for me, right? But I was fine with that because I wanted to shift careers. Now, what I want you guys to do, not right now, but after, right? I want you to Google yourself. What comes up? Because I guarantee you that those of you who are looking to get back into the workforce, your name is going to get searched on the internet. Those of you who are going into entrepreneurship, your potential clients are going to Google you. They want to see what credentials you have. What have you done? So make sure that when you search your name, that what comes up is what you want to come up. Ask others, right? Specifically, ask others if you know that you have a default brand that you don't want to stick with, right? Ask others, how do you see me? Those of you who are transitioning careers or getting into the workforce, a lot of the time we forget what we've done. We forget what our skills are. We forget what we bring as value to organizations, right? And so ask others, because when you ask other people, they will most likely give you positive information that's accurate about how you're showing up, right? And even if they share negative information, that's good too, because that gives you feedback on what you need to improve. And then you want to ask yourself, where do I want to be? What is my goal, right? And where do I stand right now? So most likely you'll see that there's a gap between where you want to be and where you are now. And based on the information that you get from asking yourself these questions, you can start to create a plan of action to get yourself to where you want to be. So this is what I did when I Google searched myself. This is what came up. And I was very happy. The first thing that you'll see there is my LinkedIn profile, right? The second thing that you'll see there is my role as an executive board member of an organization called Soil that works in Haiti to transform waste into soil, right? You'll also see that I was part of Startup Week. You'll also see my Twitter, which I'm not very active on. And then you'll also see my Uplift Your Career Instagram page. These are all great things that I want people to know about me, right? So there's nothing that I would change right now about there's other things that come up, but I wouldn't change anything about how my profile is showing up, how my name is showing up when I Google it. So when you're done with this virtual session, I want you to Google your name and make sure that what you're seeing is what you want. And if it's not, then you're going to start applying some of the steps that I'm going to show you. So the next one is defining your professional brand, right? Where do I start? Your professional brand encompasses your character, your competence, your charisma, and it tells people three things: who you are, what you do, and how you create value for others. I will tell you that many do not have too many issues saying who they are and what they do. Hi, my name is Nathalie. I'm a career strategist. Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm an administrative assistant, right? But that doesn't tell us the full story. Where we struggle is how do we create value for others, right? How do we do that? And so I'll tell you a story. When I started my coaching business, I opened my Instagram link. I started telling everybody about it. And I spoke to another coach because I think every coach needs a coach. I had 3. And one of my coaches said, you have to choose a niche, right? And I was like, no, I don't want to choose a niche. I want to help everyone, right? Anybody who needs my help, I want to help them. But the more I started to work, I realized that my niche was working mothers. Why was my niche working mothers? Because I am a working mother, right? I'm the mother to 3 beautiful, energetic, charismatic boys, right? And so all the things that I do focus on my children, right? And one of the ways that I set up my career was to be able to have the flexibility to prioritize my family over work, right? And so understanding your values, right, and what your goals are is key, but also being able to show people how you bring value, right? The way that I show working mothers that I bring value is to show that I'm doing it, right? I'm a mother of 3 boys, different ages, right? A teenager and an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. And so that requires a lot of energy. I've been down this path, right, of trying to prioritize working a 9 to 5 that never ended at 5 and rushing to school to pick up my son before 6, right? So that I didn't get charged an additional fee. I've been where you are, right? And so that's how I'm able to provide the value, and I'm able to articulate the value that I bring. So this disappears. I guess it's a StreamYard thing, but here you'll see, so what is not a brand? So I'll read it for you because I can see it. What is not a brand is bragging, right? A lot of the people object to creating a professional brand, especially women, right? Especially women, because they feel like they're bragging. They're being too self-centered, right? It is not bragging. It's promoting yourself. How do you think that companies like Nike, Apple, any other brand that you know get their clients and get loyal clients, right? People that keep coming. It's because they promote their products, right? We never think that they're bragging. They're promoting, okay? Your brand is also not someone that you are not. If you create a brand around something that you are not, you're going to start to feel imposter syndrome, and it's going to be inauthentic, right? You want your brand to be authentically you. And I'll share a little bit more about what I mean by authentic when we talk about LinkedIn, okay? And the last one is a false self-image, right? You have to learn to take feedback. And some feedback you may agree with, some feedback you may not agree with. But you have to be clear on how you're showing up. So having a false self-image is also not a brand. Okay, so we're clear on what is and what is not a brand. So why do we want to leverage our professional brand? We talked at the beginning and we said, a lot of us women, especially women in our culture, we feel like if we work really hard, right? If we exceed expectations, all of our performance reviews come back, she's a great employee to work with, that we're going to get promoted, or we're going to get another opportunity, or somebody's going to talk about us so that they hire us, right? But unless you do the work, unless you advocate for yourself, unless you promote for yourself, you're losing a lot of opportunities. So leveraging your brand is going to allow you to get job opportunities, personal growth, promotions. If you're an entrepreneur, increase sales. You can advocate for the causes that you care for, increase awareness about topics that you care for, and then influencing people, right? I mean, right now the word influencer is such a buzzword, right? Everybody's an influencer. But to really influence people, you have to share, right? You have to share who you are, how you got there. Your story is important. So how to define your brand? The first thing is to define your goal. What is it that you want to accomplish? My goal was, I want to help people work around their careers and align their lives with their responsibilities at home. That was my goal. How do I do that, right? Then you want to determine your value. What is your unique value? What makes you different? So if you are an administrative assistant, right? We know what an administrative assistant does. So what makes you more valuable than somebody else that is applying for the same role that you're applying? What is your differentiator? When we talk about, let's say, resumes, I don't know if you guys have noticed, right? Resumes used to be literally a list of your job description, right? Now the resume is a list of your accomplishments, right? What did you do in your role? If you were an administrative assistant, I don't want to see on your resume that you scheduled meetings and you booked flights. I want to see that you were administrative assistant to 3 managers, multitasking and receiving praise, 99% accuracy in all the work that you did. That's what I want to see. That is the value that you bring. And then once you have defined your goal and you have defined your unique value, you can communicate your brand. So defining your goal, right? So I'll read this to you. So Cheshire Cat asked Alice, where is she going? Alice says she does not know. And he says, if you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't matter where you go. This is powerful, right? If you don't know where you're going, does it matter where you go? And one thing that I remember, I don't know where I heard it, but it was stop letting people drive your career. Those of you who are working and have managers, your managers have goals for you, right? If you're a fantastic worker, your manager already knows, okay, what is my goal for this person? Where can we put her? How do we grow her? But unless you have your professional brand in place and you know what your goal is, you might let your manager drive your career for you. But you want to be in the driver's seat of your career, right? That's why your professional brand is important. So here's another food for thought. You're at a party and the host is going to introduce you to everyone. What do you want them to say? This is Nathalie, who has accomplished X. This is Nathalie, who is the best at X. This is Nathalie to talk with you about, right? Start to think about that. Take a screenshot if you want to, right? You want to start to think about, how would I want to be introduced? And at this point in the process, don't leave anything out, right? If you have big goals and big dreams, put them down and then work from there. How do I get there, right? Right now, we're in a special time where, although the pandemic was a horrible situation, it really opened the doors for a lot of people to work in a way that is effective and efficient for them without having to go into the office, right? There's a lot of flexibility in how we work. There's so many different opportunities. So this is the perfect time, right, for you to decide what you want and how you want to be seen, right? And then start showing that so you can land those opportunities. So determining your goals. That's not a typo. That I think it's, again, what StreamYard is doing. But determining your goals. So first, you want to create a vision of what you want to become. A lot of my clients do vision boards, and those vision boards are in their offices, in their closets, somewhere that they can see clearly what the vision they have of themselves is. Make it measurable, right? When you create a vision, put dates, right? If in order to change careers, you need to get a certification, right? Write that goal down. By May, I will have gathered, the funds in order to pay for my certification. The certification is going to last 3 months. At the end of those 3 months, I'm going to get a mentor in the field, right? So put those dates down, make them measurable, and then set benchmarks. I asked you to think big around your vision. But when you're setting your goals, I want you to start to look at it in small steps. Because when we focus on the huge picture, we can get overwhelmed, right? So start from the big vision and work your way down to small steps that you can make actionable and measurable. So determining your unique value. So your value comes from knowing your talents, your skills, your interests, your needs, and the needs of the market. Let me talk a little bit about skills. Many of us are skilled at many things, but just because you're skilled at something doesn't necessarily mean that you want to do it. I'm very organized, right? If you ask me to do administrative work, I could do it with my eyes closed because I'm very organized. But this is not something that I want to do, right? So when you start thinking about your brand, if there are things that you're really good at, but you don't want to continue doing, do not include it in your brand. Your brand should only show the things that you enjoy doing and that you want to be known for, right? So if you have a skill that you don't want to be known for or continue getting jobs in that role, don't include it in your professional brand, okay? Your interests. Your interests are the things that motivate you, right? That make you, that light that fire under you, but they're not necessarily things that you're skilled at. And I'll explain this. When I worked for the entertainment industry, I absolutely loved it. I really was very successful in it, right? And then I left the entertainment industry. I went to work for an insurance company. And even though I was doing the exact same job, I did not love it, right? And I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I realized that it had to do with my interests, right? It had to do with the environment. When I took the Berkman assessment, my interest, I scored very highly in creative, but I'm not a very creative person. But I do enjoy an environment that allows me to think and brainstorm and come up with different ways of doing things. Whereas in the insurance industry, because of compliance issues, you really do have to have a set way of doing things, and you cannot deviate from that. So it did not allow me to be creative and to brainstorm and to bring my true self to the work environment. And that the Berkman explained all of that to me. So these are very important. So determining your unique value. What are your talents? What are your skills? What are your interests, your needs, and the needs of the market? When I talk about the needs of the market, where you can start off as is just by looking at job descriptions, right? Of companies that you're interested in working for, or jobs that you're interested in, and start to look at what they're asking. What are the requirements, right? Just remembering that job descriptions are wish lists, right, for employers. So they're not necessarily looking for someone who has everything. And by the way, just a little caveat, did you know that women will not apply to a role if they do not meet at least 90% of the requirements of the role, whereas men will apply for a role even if they meet 40%, right? And so that's another thing that stops us from getting out there, right? Is the feeling that we need to be perfect, that we need to meet all of the requirements in order to even be considered, right? You'll start to think differently once you know how to create that value for yourself. So communicating your brand, right? So Nathalie, how do I start? Where do I start? Here are some sentences that you can use. Feel free again to take a screenshot of this that will get you started off, right? In writing that brand statement or introducing yourself when you go to networking events, or if you're even at just regular family functions where you're meeting new people, right? I thrive on, I love, with a reputation for recruitment. I do this and that. As an expert in the career coaching field, I coach working mothers to align their work and their home life. As an expert in resume writing, I help my clients reformulate their resumes. The secret to my success is X. If company is looking for X, Y, and X, I want to make that happen, right? And so these are all sentences that you can write down and start off writing that if you want to call it an elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it, but it's your brand statement. Use these sentences to get you started. So when do we get to communicate our brand? By the way, all the time and everywhere, right? Right now, I'm communicating my brand. Anide, when she did the introduction, she was communicating her brand. We are all communicating our brand all the time. But specifically, when you're communicating your brand in person, it's about how you present yourself, right? Your handshake, your body language is really important, right? Building a network, talking to people, attending conferences, having business cards, right? You don't necessarily have to have a business card. Whatever it is that you use to promote yourself, use that, right? If you're talking to some people at a networking event, you might want to immediately connect with them on LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn? Let's connect. I'd love to continue this conversation online, right? And then online, you're promoting your brand all the time on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. If you're blogging or publishing articles, you're communicating your brand, right? Just be very careful, because remember at the beginning, I mentioned that as a recruiter myself and as a sourcer is somebody that actually goes into these social media platforms to find people that they can contact in order to come work for the company, right? And I was doing recruiting and sourcing for MTV for a very long time, right? I was contacting people that were in similar roles at other companies to see if they would be interested or knew someone that would be interested in the roles that I was recruiting for. And as a sourcer, I also Googled people, right? So make sure that your social media presence is what you want to be known for. Not just the Google, right? How you're showing up, but everything that you're writing, is it communicating the brand that you want to create? So promoting your professional brand on LinkedIn. This is where you guys are going to need a pen and paper and your attention in order to remember what I'm saying, okay? So when we're talking about your professional brand, I want you guys to keep in mind that your brand needs to be powerful. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be visible. I mean, if it's not visible, how are people going to know? And it's also going to need to be valuable. So let's start with this. I know most of you know what LinkedIn is, but I don't think it ever hurts to remind you, right? What is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is an online platform for professionals and students too. I added students too because a lot of students that I work with are saying, yeah, but LinkedIn is for people who have like many years of experience or who are, executive level people. No, it's for everyone in the professional world. LinkedIn is also a place that you can control your reputation. It is the reputation that you control. Remember this, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Why do we use LinkedIn? We use LinkedIn to network, for job and internship opportunities, and for learning. If you've been on the LinkedIn platform, and by the way, I'm not getting paid by LinkedIn for this. I just really enjoy the platform. So networking is crucial, right, in LinkedIn. Jobs and internship opportunities. Did you know that most of the jobs are not posted? So if you go on LinkedIn jobs right now, you're going to see millions of different jobs. Do you know that's not even maybe 30% of the jobs that are out there? So most of the jobs that people get are through referrals, references, and networking, right? So when you're doing that, what is your professional brand saying about you? And then LinkedIn also has a learning platform, right? Where you can not only learn through the LinkedIn Learning, right? Where they have workshops and virtual sessions, but you can learn from other people. If you are entering a new field and you want to learn all the ins and outs about it, start following people in that field, right? Because most likely they're going to be sharing information, statistics, articles, writing, publishing different information, infographics that would be of interest to you. So start connecting with the people that will uplift your network, right? And get you those opportunities. So 93% of recruiters are using LinkedIn to find their future employees. And nearly 100 of recruiters using LinkedIn to screen or source applicants. And LinkedIn has been around for many years. And I have been using it to do just that, right, as a recruiter. So why should you use LinkedIn? To land your next opportunity, job, or client if you're looking into getting it into entrepreneurship. And by the way, I have to tell you that I can say that I have only applied for a job twice in my life. Every other opportunity, including clients that I get for my business, are coming through LinkedIn. I have my Instagram page. People get entertained by it, but my clients are not coming from Instagram. They're coming from LinkedIn. Okay, so even if you have a side hustle, right? LinkedIn is great for your business. You want to grow your professional network and maintain a positive online presence. And what I mean by that is going back to the fact that we said that it's the reputation you control. So again, you can research prospective employers. So LinkedIn, most employers will have an employer LinkedIn profile. So you can look at their profile to see what kind of company it is, right? Does this company resonate with what you prioritize, right? Your values. What are their goals? What is happening with them? Are they looking to recruit? Are they downsizing, right? You can get a lot of information on LinkedIn. And then you can connect, right? It's not just about looking at people's profiles and see what they're doing. You want to also connect with potential employers, clients, current and former colleagues, right? By the way, if you're working in a corporate environment and you only have your colleagues' work emails, if one of you leaves the organization, how do you stay in touch? Especially if it's someone that you want to be able to follow their career trajectory. Maybe they can be of help to you in the future. Maybe you could be of help to them in the future. So connect with people on LinkedIn. So when we talk about LinkedIn, a lot of you are going to say, but I don't even know where to start, Nathalie. My LinkedIn profile is very basic. It's my name and in my job. At the company I work, I put my education, but there's not much else, right? Let me teach you how to create a LinkedIn profile that is going to add value. So the first thing we want to do is add your profile picture. A lot of us, especially women, hesitate, right, to put our profile pictures on LinkedIn, right? Because again, it's about the judgment. Or if you have natural hair, are they going to resonate with my natural hair, right? Remembering that your profile has to be authentic is helpful in deciding what picture that you use. I want you to be fully yourself. I want you to be authentic to who you are, right? There's no reason why you should be on LinkedIn with your hair blow dried if in the work environment, you're not going to do that, right? What we want you to be is professional, right? And so I want you to show yourself authentically. So your picture, right? It's not a far picture where we can't see you. You want to minimize any background that would distract from your face. You want to have a clear face, relaxed eyebrows, looking straight ahead, a natural smile, and a good posture. And usually what I would say is to take the picture from your shoulders up, right? That way we can see your face, okay? The second thing that you want to look at, which many people don't do and don't even know about, is to change the banner behind your picture, right? And a lot of us, it's important to know, right? Most of us are visual people. LinkedIn profiles with graphics have 11 times more chances of getting viewed than those that don't. We gravitate towards the visual, right? So that's part of your brand. My profile, I created using Canva. It's canva.com, where they even have these customizable templates. You can take one just from their website, and it's free. So there are some that are paid, but you can find plenty that are great that you can download and create and add to your profile, because LinkedIn will give you a generic banner. And when I'm talking about the banner, it's that piece of information right behind my profile picture where it says career strategist and coach, uplift your career. The next thing that you want to do is your headline. A lot of us just put, administrative assistant at Comcast, right? But is that really who you are? Is that totally you? Is that your brand? So this is your opportunity to tell people what you do, and this is your brand statement, right? It's your opportunity to show the value that you bring to people, right? So my headline is, I help professional working moms make confident career moves, all while raising a family. That's my headline. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? It just has to resonate and be true to who you are. The next thing is your about section, which most people never put, right? Or they put maybe their cover letter information. Here you have unlimited, no, I don't want to say unlimited, but you have a lot of space to tell your story. If you go on my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that I tell a story about my journey into career coaching. And what does that do? I'm giving away my secrets. When I tell people my journey, it resonates with them, right? I went through what you're going through. I changed careers too, right? This is how I found my sweet spot. And then I listed all of the key skills that I have, because what you want to do in your about section where you're writing is use industry specific keywords, okay? Because as a sourcer, or what most sourcers do is that they do a search on LinkedIn. right? They're not specifically looking for Nathalie Marc-Charles. They're looking for career coach, career strategist, working mom. So when they put all of that information into the search bar, my profile will come up because of the keywords that I've used in my about section. So make sure that your about section is heavy on the industry specific keywords. Whatever industry you're in or you want to be in, start to look at the keywords that are going to get your profile viewed. And then at the end, I have a call to action. Let's connect. Visit my website. If you want recruiters to reach out to you, you may even want to provide your email address. Okay. And so this is your opportunity to create that brand that you want to be known for on LinkedIn, remembering that it's the reputation you control. I said all of that, but I'll say it again. So your about section, it's why are you interested in an industry and career you have chosen? And that's what the story in my about section tells. What are your long-term goals, right? Especially if you're transitioning careers or re-entering the workforce. What are your long-term goals? Share any relevant experiences, skills, or interests you have. And then use industry-specific keywords. LinkedIn does not allow you to format that section, so you can't bold things or add necessarily bullets. So you have to do a lot of editing to it. But make sure that you're not writing a full page with no breaks, right? So make sure you have paragraphs and you use different section or dashes instead of bullet points to itemize all of the skills that you bring. And then ask for recommendations, okay? These are some of the recommendations that I have asked for, right? Or that people have given me. People will ask you for recommendations. Make sure you provide them, right? And these recommendations show my clients what I'm able to do from other people. I cannot make this up. I cannot create multiple profiles and write recommendations for myself. These recommendations are from actual clients who have worked with me. So ask for recommendations from former colleagues, from your managers, from people that you have helped, even if you don't get paid for it. Anything that can help you enhance that professional brand. Because remembering, perception is everything. So the next part of our presentation is identifying the right connections and networks to grow your professional brand. So now you have your beautiful LinkedIn profile. You've added all of the information that you need to add. You're set. So how do you start making connections? So there are different types of networks, right? You have the operational network, the strategic network, and then the personal network. Your operational network is maybe your current or former colleagues, right? Your manager. Those are the people that work in your circle, that work alongside you, or people that you've worked with before. And then there's a strategic network. Those are the people that you want to connect with in order to learn from them, collaborate with them, or work with them. Okay, so that's your strategic network. And then you have your personal network. These are people that you know on a personal level. It could be your parents, it could be your sister, it could be your cousin. But these people are also going to be your advocates, right? When you make a post on LinkedIn, those are the people that are going to reshare it. Those are the people that are going to like it, right? And so that's important to keep all of these networks as part of your LinkedIn network. So what makes up your network, or who makes up your network, right? So a lot of people will come and they'll say to me, Nathalie, I don't have a network. I mean, especially now that we work remotely, I don't really get to collaborate with people or see people. I don't have a network, but you do, right? So your network is school contacts, right? If you're in school, or if you kept in touch with people, alumni, professors, people that were with you if you worked at the school. Whatever it is, these are part of your network. Past supervisors, current and former colleagues, clients and customers. It's virtual acquaintances, people that you have met, and I'll show you a little bit about that later. People that you've met virtually, right? A lot of my biggest fans on LinkedIn are people I've never met in person. Your friends, any professional associations, people that are in, so if you're looking at part of NAAHP, If there's somebody there that you would love to connect with or learn more from, connect with them, right? People in the non-professional organizations. Right now, all 3 of my boys are in soccer, right? My network has grown exponentially because I spend a lot of time with these parents. A lot of them are working parents. They're also in my network on LinkedIn, right? Because they can refer me because now they know me, right? And then your network is also made up of people you can help. It's not only about you getting the help, it's also about who you can help. So using LinkedIn to network effectively. So what I encourage you to do is always to make connections, right? If you meet people, send them a note via LinkedIn so that you can stay connected with them. I put a little sample there for you that you can take. And then it's not enough to just create your profile. You also want to engage. If people are posting things that you enjoy, that you like it, you comment on it, you share it. Because the more you do that, the more they're going to take notice of you. And then the more other people are going to see your profile. Your profile will start coming up more. Okay, so if you also, another way to engage is your accomplishments. And I know we talked a lot about it at the beginning, that a lot of the time as women, we don't want to share our accomplishments. And you have to be able to do that because you're proud of them. We tend to focus on the negative. And this is a kind of like a sidetrack to it, right? But when you start thinking about your professional brand, a lot of you will get stuck. And you'll say, but I don't remember what people say about me. What's the feedback that I've gotten? And all of a sudden, all of the negative feedback you've ever received will be at the forefront of your brain. You will never remember the positive. So what I encourage you to do is create a document, get a notebook, create a Google Drive, use your phone, whatever it is that's going to help you. Every time somebody comes to you for help, write it down. Every time you receive positive feedback, write it down. Because when you're getting ready to do your resume, if you do a project that you're proud of, write it down. Make it very detailed so that when you're ready to redo your resume or start working on your professional brand, you remember your accomplishments and your achievements. It's going to make the process easier for you. It's going to change your mindset because you're going to have solid information about your accomplishments. The other thing that you want to do as you're networking on LinkedIn is follow industry-specific companies. If you are re-entering the workforce or transitioning to a new career, start to follow those companies that are in that field. Start to follow employees of those companies. Start to follow experts. Start to follow the recruiters, the managers, right? On the platform. Those are very important connections. So there's 2 ways that you can connect with people on LinkedIn. The first one is through InMail. You can only InMail people that you don't know, that you're not connected with if you have LinkedIn Premium. But please don't go get LinkedIn Premium. I don't think that you need LinkedIn Premium in order to be successful using the platform, okay? So I don't think you need to invest in Premium, but I know that that's probably gonna come up when you say, well, Nathalie told me to email my contacts and send them in for, tell them about myself, and now I have to pay to do it. I just wanted to make sure you knew, right? But you don't need to do that. Now, what you can do is basic messaging. You can only message people in your network. So how do we get around that? So first, you send a connection request. And in the connection request, you can write a little bit about yourself. And I'll show you how somebody did that successfully communicating with me. Okay? And so you could just use basic messaging, connect with the person with a short introduction to who you are and why you'd like to connect with them. So who you are and why you'd like to connect with them. And once they accept your connection request, you are free to email back and forth with them, to message back and forth with them on LinkedIn without needing Premium. So this is a good example of someone who reached out to me after I did a session for them on this topic on LinkedIn. She says, hi, my name is, and I won't say it. I was part of today's workshop, LinkedIn profile. I was wondering if we could connect and chat. any tips you can add on to how to optimize my LinkedIn profile for recruiters? Looking forward to hearing from you. So she reminded me about how I met her, how she was connected with me. So that made me want to connect with her more. And then she asked me, okay, any tips that you could provide, because this is the area that she knows that I'm an expert in. Okay, this is a good example. Now, this is what you should not do. LinkedIn is not WhatsApp. It's not text. It's not a social network that is non-professional. So you want to make sure. So this communication started in 2019, and it's still happening to this day. Okay. Hi, Nathalie. And I respond, hello, Jean. How are you? No response. And then again in the 2020, hi, Nathalie. And then again in 2021, hey, Nathalie. So this is not the way for you to do your professional brand, right? Because at some point, the person is going to stop responding. Make your message short, clear, concise. And for the most part, you don't want to right off the bat ask for something. You want to start to engage first before you ask for whatever it is that you need to ask, okay? So some tips for you. You want to build your profile and network before you need it. You don't want to be in a position where you have to look for a job and you're scrambling to do everything, because it's going to add to your stress level. Okay. So you want to start doing that now, so that when you're ready to transition, to get back into the workforce or to change careers, that your profile is ready and people are already looking at it. Okay. Build a quality network. You don't have to accept every connection request that you get. On LinkedIn, it's not about quantity. It's not about how many connections you have. It's about the quality of your connections. Are these people in the industry that you want to get in? Are these people going to teach you something? Or are you going to be able to help these people? So make sure that it's a quality network. Don't focus on the quantity of people that you're connected to. Join and participate in groups. Connect with industry leaders. Follow companies and organizations. Connect or follow. Some people will only let you follow. Okay? Complete your profile. LinkedIn will let you know when your profile is complete. It'll give you an all-star, star, or superstar, something like that. And then actively update your profile. Remember that this is ever changing. If you change your mind, so for example, one of the things that when my coach told me, Nathalie, you need to pick a niche, right? You need to focus. Who's your client? I want to work with people of Caribbean descent. Okay, that's what I want to do. So I changed my LinkedIn headline. And then as I started looking at the posts that I was posting, every time it related to being a mother and juggling, that's when I would get more interaction from people. And I said, wait a minute, this is my niche. My niche is working moms, because this is what I know best, right? I'm not the career coach that you're going to see going to the bar and, to restaurants and showing pictures of the food and the drink. That's not the coach I am. LinkedIn will give you a URL that you can share on your resume, that you can share on your business card, anywhere, right? It's going to be a generic one that has numbers and letters. What you want to do is go into your profile and then click on edit URL. And then you can change it. Like you see mine, I change it to my first name and my last name. That way it's easy for people to remember, and they can just either click on it or type it in and they'll find you. Okay, so I want to leave you with this. Don't just claim that you do what you do. Be known for it. The things that you want to be known for, don't just claim it. Be known for it. It's been really great chatting with you all today, and we'll open up for questions, but I wanted to share all of my login information. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can also go on my website and also Instagram, and you can also email me. But I do have a special offer in addition to the LinkedIn profile audit that we will be giving away for free. I wanted to provide you with a selection of my packages that I offer for professional branding specifically. There's 3 tiers, and you can select whichever one floats your boat. The essential is your resume and cover letter, and the enhanced is your LinkedIn profile, and then the premier package, which is the best value, would be your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, all done for you. These are not audits. It's I do it all for you based on what you want to do in your career. So the offer, if you go on my website, I want you to select the package that you would like. You can DM me on Instagram, and I'll pull back my connections in a minute. You can DM me or email me the code NAAHP10 to receive 10% off the package that you select. But this offer is only good for 48 hours, okay? So if you want the package, go on the website after the session, DM me or email me NAAHP10, and we will get started working together. Again, thank you so much. And let me pull back up my information. All right.
All right, Nathalie, thank you so much. I'm here taking notes for myself. I'm like, oh, like I have my work phone and my personal phone, and I was taking pictures on both. I'm just like, oh, exactly.
I've been there. I've done that.
This was such a great and informative presentation, Nathalie. We have a couple questions that came through, so I want to be able to get to that so that I can ask you maybe 1 or 2 follow-up questions after that. Sure. So one question that a viewer had is, what advice would you give to someone who has a 9-to-5 corporate job, who wants to build their personal brand, but is scared about how it may impact or how it may look to upper management?
Okay, so there's 2 things here, right? So for most people who work a corporate job, you can still showcase your professional brand with the role that you currently have, right? And by the way, most companies and most managers will want you to do that, okay? Because it promotes their company and it promotes all the great things that you're doing, right? On the other hand, if you are working a corporate job, but you have a side hustle, you can still do that provided that your side hustle doesn't have any conflict of interest with your current role. Right? Because listen, I don't think I know of many people right now who have a corporate job but don't have anything going on outside of that. Right? And so, this is why we're in a really good space because of the pandemic, where people are, they're being themselves, right? They're making choices. And so I don't think you necessarily have to worry about upper management. And if they have an issue with it, then they'll come up and tell you what the issue is. And at that point, you can either decide how you want to proceed, right? And listen to what the feedback is on that. But I don't think it would be much of a problem. One, if you're sharing company achievements, I don't think it's an issue. And also your achievements within the company, most companies will want that. And even if you have something that's going on the side, if you share that information, but also promote your company, it shouldn't be an issue unless you work for a very strict company. But you might want to also talk to your HR department to see if there might not be some conflict of interest, because I don't want you to go doing that based on my advice and then you get in trouble. So talk to either the legal team or their HR team to let them know that you're sharing information, is if that's okay. Most companies will have a social media policy that they abide by.
Thanks. The next question is, do you have tips on cold emailing senior level professionals? I don't necessarily want a job from their company, but I do want to meet and learn from them.
Absolutely. So some of the emails that I get is, and sometimes they're not true. So sometimes some people will email me and say, I see that we're connected with some of the same people. I'd love to be connected with you, right? To grow my network. So you could use something like that, right? I've been following you, or I've seen some of the posts that other people have shared that you've posted, or an article that you've written, or an accomplishment that you've had, and I'd love to be connected with you and learn from you. You can actually say that, because honestly, people want to share. People actually want to talk about themselves, believe it or not, and they want to give advice. And so if you're contacting them for information or to learn from them, first you're complimenting them, right? So they're more likely to accept your connection request because you're complimenting whatever achievement they've had or even their career trajectory, right? And so, and you can be more specific about it and say, you know, I know that you're in the field of, why am I drawing a blank? You're in the field of I don't know, texture. You make fabric. You know, I'd love, that's something that I've been interested in, not necessarily to work in, but I'd love to learn more about that. I would love to be connected with you. It's really simple. It's not as scary as we make it out to be. And I'll tell you a very funny story. When I was in Haiti, I wanted to bring in, there was something called LinkedIn Social, which took people off the platform that were in the same region. And then they would have networking events in person, right? And I wanted to bring LinkedIn Social to Haiti really badly. So I applied for it, got accepted. And then during the orientation, I saw that there was a woman who put that her role was LinkedIn profile writer. I was like, LinkedIn profile, right? I've never heard of that. What is that? Like, what do you do? So I side chat her. And I said, I'd love to connect with you and learn more about what you do. So guess what? We connected. I was in Haiti. This woman is in Canada. Okay? We are friends till this day. She actually created a course for me to teach me how to write LinkedIn profiles. Okay? And so this is how far. And from there, I've added this to my business, right? And so you never know when a connection will happen. So don't be afraid to reach out to people and say, I just want to be connected with you. I don't necessarily want anything from you right now, but I want to be connected with you. Okay.
Thank you, Nathalie. I think we have 2 more questions. What are your thoughts about outsourcing some of the strategies you mentioned to a virtual assistant, as sometimes the juggling can be overwhelming?
I know a lot of people do this. I don't have a problem with it if you're talking Instagram. Okay. But I think that for LinkedIn, unless the person knows your language, knows you, because remember that we're trying to be authentic. Okay. So you can write what you want to write and have them post it on your behalf, right? Or, you know, that they write it for you and, you know, they write it for you, you correct it, and then they post it, right? But I wouldn't necessarily outsource the brain power and your knowledge to someone else, right? I think it really should come from you and your voice. And I know that it gets overwhelming, and people will say you need to post 4 or 5 times a day, you need to like 30 times. Do what you can. And it's a process, guys. You're not going to go tomorrow and have a completed profile and have a network of 10,000 people. This is all a process. Start with what you can do, but make sure that you start, right? And if you want to outsource maybe the graphics and maybe somebody else writes the content for you, but then you edit it, right? Those are all things that you can do, but make sure that it's authentic and it's coming off authentic. Because sometimes people will reach out to you about something that you wrote and you had no idea. What are they talking about? What post? I didn't post, right? So that it kind of touches on that inauthenticity that I don't want you to get stuck with.
Okay. Now, this question from Vibe P is, should the job description on our resume be long or short?
So similar to LinkedIn, when you're writing your resume or your LinkedIn profile, you really just need 3 or 4 bullets under each job description. Because remember that it's not a job description. Your resume and your LinkedIn profile are not job descriptions. Because most of the time, if you're sending your resume or even if you're sending your LinkedIn profile to a recruiter, they know exactly what you do for work. Right? If they're looking for an electrical engineer, they know what an electrical engineer does. They don't want to see a job description. They want to see what you accomplished as an electrical engineer for Comcast, right? This is the type of information they want to see. So you want to make sure that you're putting your achievements, right? What you brought to the role, how you brought value to the role with 3, 4, 5 bullets. That's it.
Next question from Angelina Spigas. I'm currently a recent grad and American-born Haitian. However, I want to connect with Haitians in Haiti, I'm assuming Haitian professionals, because I plan to end my career there. Any tips? Should I better my French?
No, I don't think you need to better your French. I think that, well, listen, if you want to better your French, you can better your French, right? But a lot of people who are posting on LinkedIn will post in English. A lot will post in French as well, as long as you can. And people are very forgiving. And this is a global world, by the way, right? So even if you were to reach out to somebody in Haiti in English, they may respond back to you in English, right? A lot of my followers on LinkedIn are in Haiti, right? And they will most often, they will send me a message in English, right? And if they send it to me in French, I have a hard time writing French, to be honest with you. I'll figure it out, right? And what you want to do is connect. Don't connect with everyone, right? Connect with people that you, let's say right now you're on this platform, right? Who attended? Who's here with you? Let me connect with that person, right? Because this is an opportunity for you to grow your network. And people that are listening today may be in everywhere, right? They could be in Haiti. They could, and the thing is, you don't know where everybody's going to end up. So you can connect with somebody in Miami who ends up going to Haiti. And because you've been connected for years, they say, Angeline, I have an opportunity for you. When are you ready to move? Right? So you can be very specific about how you want to connect, but you can also be very broad, but make sure that it's a network that is valuable to you, not just for quantity, for how many followers or connections you have.
And those were all the questions that we had coming from the online platform. And you kind of touched on a question that I had for you that we spoke about even earlier on when we spoke about a month and a half ago, is that, do you accept every request that comes your way? Like, should you be doing that? Okay.
No, I do not accept every request that comes my way. I think that ever since I started really kind of putting out my business and the services that I provide, a lot of the connection requests that I get are from people wanting to help me with my lead generation, right? Ooh, Nathalie, are you getting enough clients? I can help you with your clients. Mm-hmm. As soon as I see that, I don't accept these requests. But I do accept requests from people who have been in my sessions. I do accept requests from people who say that they've been following me, or, that I accept requests as long as you send me like a comment about how we know each other, right? Or how you've heard about me, because then it creates the rapport that we're going to continue having on the platform. But if I know that you're connecting with me to sell me something, I most likely won't accept the request. But you don't have to accept everything, all the requests.
And do you accept? I call like free consulting mask under the guise like, I really appreciate what you do. I'd love to pick your brain to learn more and to get your advice on this. How does someone who's building their brand try to walk the fine line in service, but
it's challenging, right, for entrepreneurs, because I think especially in this field, the reason that you go into it, the reason that you go into HR, the reason that you go into coaching, even if it's career coaching, life coaching, finance coaching, the goal is to help people, right? But you also need to get paid for it, right? And so as an entrepreneur, I think that people have to be careful. If you're asking to pick my brain around a service that I offer, the answer will probably be, here, book a session. Right? But if you're looking to pick my brain, about something, Nathalie, like for example, the student that I shared before, right? That was in my course. And I knew, because we had spoken, I knew that she was struggling. And these are people that are not employed. So of course, I'm going to say, I'll look at your LinkedIn profile. I didn't do a thorough LinkedIn profile audit. I just said at first glance, this is what I see that you can edit. But it's not comparable to what she would have gotten if she was paying for the service. Do you understand? So I give you a little bit because I know how we connected. I know what you need. I know a little bit about your background. And so I'll give you the information that I can, but if you need additional information, then we book a session. And I think that that goes for all entrepreneurs. So, right? Because I mean, if you go to the mall, you start walking around the food court. I don't know if they still do that now. I haven't been to the mall in forever. You know, the tasting platters, they're not giving you a full sandwich to taste. They're giving you a bite, right? And if you like it, you go buy it. But they're never going to give you the full thing, right? So the sessions that we do are to give you a lot of the information that can be useful. And I think that as entrepreneurs, we have to be careful because then we fall into the trap of, oh, my friend said that you helped her. Could you help me too? But I don't have any money, right? So don't fall into that trap, because if you want to do your business in a serious way, you have to take it seriously, and you have to command that people take it seriously as well. And if you want to pick my brain, book me for a workshop.
Still need the money, but I'll still help you. But let's help each other out. So Nathalie, this was, again, I really thoroughly enjoyed your session and your presentation, and you dropped so many nuggets. The default brand thing, I'm like, oh wow, I never thought about that, right? It may not necessarily be what you want, but it may be what you're known as, right? Bringing your true self, which I'm a big champion of. Bring your authentic self, being consistent, controlling your reputation. And sometimes, especially when we're at dead-end jobs or places we don't need to be, it's almost like we've given up the power of our true selves because we've become relegated to this title and we don't know how to get out of that hole. So Nathalie, I want you to share your information again for anyone who may be looking to
yes,
or wants to connect.
There we go. There it is.
LinkedIn. Nathalie's website, her Instagram handle, and her email address. And you can keep that up so that folks can take a picture or screenshot. We want to thank Nathalie for spending this time with us and for this great session and for all the wealth of knowledge that you shared. We have a winner for the audit and for the raffle already. And the winner is our behind the scenes person, the person that makes it all go around, Molina Jean-Louis. Thank you, Molina. And I know she has a team. Naomi Jean-Baptiste is the winner of the PD with the NAAHP. So Naomi, congratulations. And the NAAHP will connect you with Nathalie. You can email your information to media and they'll connect you with Nathalie. So we want to thank you for joining our PD with NAAHP on tonight and for winning. And we also, again, want to thank the NAAHP. This is the first of many professional development series that the NAAHP has going on. I'll be moderating some of them, and I have another co-host, Wolf, who is moderating others. So please continue to follow NAAHP on all of their social media handles. They're on LinkedIn, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. I don't think they're going to do TikTok. I don't know who's going to manage that if they do TikTok, right? They don't have that. And we again want to thank our partners. We want to thank Chocarella. We want to thank Book It Right Accounting. And we want to thank the College Cafe. Again, thank you all so much for spending the evening with us. Feel free to share the link of this YouTube when it is posted to the NAAHP's YouTube site. Nathalie, it was great. When I'm in Florida, we're definitely going to hook up and connect. And have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.